My name is Xavier Vila and I'm an associate professor at the University of Barcelona, and my specialty is sociolinguistics, mostly sociolinguistics of multilingual situations. And I've been specializing in the last years on the one hand on Catalan, which is the historical language of the place where I work, and also on comparative sociolinguistics with other medium-sized language communities, which is my last book, Survival and Development of Language Communities. Multilingual Matters deals exactly with this issue. In synthesis, the Spanish Minister of Education has put forward a proposal for a new law of education, which contains a number of provisions for language education. And the Catalan Ministry of Education is not does not agree with the proposal. So there's a big debate on political terms. On the media, Catalan and Spanish media are discussing what are the consequences of this proposal. To put it very simply, I would say that you may try to understand the conflict or the debate from two different perspectives. I would say that from the Spanish side of the Spanish ministry, they are trying to present the proposal as a way to enhance and to improve the educational system all over Spain, including Catalonia, and they they include some provisions to make Castilian medium education a compulsory option in Catalonia, which means that at least part of the education, or at least some schools, should be teaching by means of Castilian or Spanish. Castilian is the way we have always referred to Spanish in most of the Spanish-speaking world. On the Catalan side, this is lived mostly as an attack to the autonomy of Catalonia to organize their own system of education. Then the debate is based on these two different positions. I have to be honest, I would say that the debate, in fact, is not really about educational issues. I mean, all the data we have up to this moment show that in educational terms, the Catalan educational system works more or less as the rest of the Spanish educational systems, which means that all these systems tend to be quite egalitarian and do not promote excellence. I mean, that's the general view. And so changing the medium of education does not necessarily mean that you will improve the level of students. I would say that the debate is also not about language issues. In fact, even if it sounds surprising, think that according to all the data we have right now, the level of competence in Catalan and Castilian produced by the current educational system in Catalonia is quite similar. So children end up, more than 80%, between 80 and 90% of the children ending their education in Catalonia and compulsory education being able to speak and write more or less properly both two languages, Catalan and Castilian. So the changes in the current system would not improve knowledge of Castilian. And in fact, there is a very serious risk that the change of the current system, which works mostly in Catalan, will damage the competence levels in Catalan. If we look at other parts of Spain where other systems are being used right now, like Valencia, for instance, where a system is applied which is quite similar to that suggested by the the Spanish Ministry of Education, we see that the result of that system is not widespread bilingualism. On the contrary, 100% of the children ending their education in Valencia end up being able to speak and write Castilian, but only half of the children educated in Valencia with the system proposed by the minister end up being able to speak and write Catalan. So, if we compare, it is widespread bilingualism compared to only half of the population being bilingual. So the Catalan system is, in this respect, seems to be better. I would say that most of the debate is basically turning around a different issue. It has to do with who's the boss and who's in charge of education and other issues. Let me put it in this way. In federal states, education is usually a responsibility of the federal states, or the provinces, or the länder, that depend on the country, which means that every province, every federate state is 100% responsible for syllabus, for programs, and the different ministers of education gather in a national conference and discuss how to make their systems compatible. But the ultimate responsible bodies are not central but territorial. In very centralized countries, 100% of the education depends on the central power. What happens in Spain is that until now, slightly more than 50% of the education depended on the central government. And now the central government wants to decide more than 65% of the contents, and in some particular subjects wants to decide 100% of the contents. That means that, for instance, history would be decided from the center, from Madrid, by specialists from Madrid, and that means that children in the Canary Islands and in the Basque Country would study exactly the same history, as if nothing was different in both territories. This is, in my view, the nuclear element of the debate, because for Catalans, for 80% of Catalonians, people living in Catalonia, Catalonia is a different society which has the right to decide, at least in cultural and linguistic terms, what they want to do with their languages and their history and their education. On the contrary, from centralist or if you want a nationalist point of views in Madrid, Madrid should be ruling and should be deciding what's going to happen in every single school. The debate is complicated by the fact that, as you know, right now there's a political conflict between Catalonia and the central government, because during the last years more and more tension has been accumulated. Catalonian authorities and society tend to feel that they are not being well treated, while I would say that in Madrid the general impression is that Catalans keep complaining all the time. So one has to wonder why we have now a debate about education, language, history, and my feeling is that the authorities in Madrid are not calculating quite well what they are trying to do, or perhaps they are calculating it too well. Unfortunately, with the very strong economic crisis in Spain, playing a hard role, being tough in front of Catalans, seems to be popular in a wide spectrum in the rest of Spain, which means that if you play the nationalist card in Madrid, you will get many people forgetting about economic problems. So why do we have this polemic right now, when in fact there have been, and I didn't say that before, in the current system in Catalonia right now, you have what we call an integrated system, a conjoint system, where the main language of education is Catalan, but especially for the first years, if you want to be taught in Castilian within an integrated class, and that's the main point, not to segregate children, you can have an auxiliary teacher which is helping you with Castilian. Okay, in the whole of Catalonia there have been 11 families asking for separate education during the last year. So, and we are talking about 1 million children. If you have 11 children whose parents are asking for particular or Castilian special education, in a context of 1 million, you would think that this is not a very relevant problem, neither in linguistic or educational terms. Why so? In many respects, I'm afraid that we are facing an old-fashioned debate in which the central power is trying to regain a momentum that was gone perhaps 40 years ago.